Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Please continue to put in the chat box where you're joining us from today, your name and your location. We will start in a few seconds. I welcome all of you to today's webinar. This community, the name of our foundation is Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation, and our slogan is Little Drops, Big Changes. With the support of partners who contribute little and some huge sponsorship, we're able to help indigent and less privileged students to achieve their academic ambition and their dreams of having a good life. Thank you so much for joining us. We have the privilege of hosting today and having as our guest speaker, Dr. Anthony Ajemba. I am going to introduce him and yield the floor to him. But before I do that, I am speaking on behalf of the chairman of the Board of Trustees, Sir Oladende Olusoga Joseph, Rear Admiral Retired, CON, MNI, and other trustees of the Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation. On their behalf, I welcome every one of you to this webinar. I want to say a special welcome to our distinguished trustees. We have trustees who are in other parts of the world outside Nigeria joining us for this program. We want to thank the trustees. We want to thank our partners, our financial partners. We want to thank sponsors who have taken up projects on behalf of this community in the past. I want to also especially welcome the educationists, the teachers, the principals, anyone who is in a capacity that is mentoring and teaching students. We celebrate you all today and we welcome you to this program. I also want to especially welcome the beneficiaries and the mentees of this community, the people for whom we have been created as a foundation. I welcome you all to this program. Everyone around the call, whether I have called you specially or not, you are all welcome to this event. The officers of the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Ogun State. The location, Ogun State is the location where we're having this year's Teachers Excellence Award. I welcome all of you, sirs and ma'ams, to this program. The teachers and principals from Egba Block in Ogun State, I welcome you all, sirs and ma'ams. And then past nominees and awardees of this Teachers Excellence Award. We have many of them contributing and giving back to this community. I welcome all past nominees and awardees of the Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation Teachers Excellence Award. I welcome you all to this program. This webinar is the 12th that we're organizing. And we would like to take this opportunity to thank past speakers and partners who have contributed to the success of our past events. Today's edition is in honor of the 2024 Teachers Excellence Award organized by the Foundation to celebrate teachers that have exhibited excellence in the discharge of their duties. Thank you, sirs and ma'ams. We celebrate you. We will continue to do that at every step of the event today. Our topic today is cardiovascular wellness and awareness for children and adults. And then I would like to let you know that we have recordings of past editions of these webinars on the Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation YouTube channel. We will not take too much of your time today. Our guest speaker will speak for between 45 and 50 minutes, and then he will take your questions. We will take your questions for like 20 to 25 minutes, and then we'll do announcements, wrap up, and get your feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, please follow the conversation every step of the way and take down your questions or comments or feedback that you want to give us at the end of the program. And now it is my honor and a special privilege to introduce Dr. Ajemba Emeka Life, Dr. Anthony Emeka Life Ajemba. Major General Dr. A.E. Life Ajemba is a foremost military cardiologist with an outstanding career as a medical doctor and as a military personnel. He is an accomplished military officer, having risen to the esteemed rank of Major General. He is a physician, he's an author, a publisher, administrator, and an international speaker on disaster and military medicine. Dr. Ajemba conducts seminars for corporate bodies on healthy living and basic life support. He has published 4 books and many journals, both locally and abroad. Major General Anthony Emeka Life Ajemba attended the prestigious Nigeria Military School Zaria from 1973 to 1978, where he obtained the West African School Certificate. Dr. Ajemba obtained MBBS with a Merit Award Distinction Prize in Medicine in 1984 from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Thereafter, he attended the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital and University College Hospital, Ibadan for his postgraduate specialization in internal medicine and cardiology from 1995 to 2001. He obtained the fellowship of the Medical College of Physicians, specializing in cardiology in 2001 from the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. Dr. Ajemba retired from the Nigerian Army in June 2015 as Director General, Ministry of Defense, Health Implementation Program, and he is currently the Chief of Medicine at the Defense Medical Center, Mogadishu, Abuja. He is a founder of Life Ajemba Foundation, which is dedicated to offering free medical outreach to the less privileged in the society. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir. The floor is now yours. And I think you can share. I will stop sharing so you can share your screen. Thank you so much. We're honored to have you join us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Kamalafe. Yeah, good morning, the board of Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation and everybody in this forum. And I've been introduced, and without wasting time, would like to get on with the subject matter of today. Okay. I'll be speaking on understanding the cardiovascular awareness and awareness program for children and adults. As is very clearly stated, this program is dedicated to all teachers worldwide who have sacrificed and are still sacrificing their time and energy to train children and adults in school. I'd like to say congratulations to all the teachers on this forum today. So what is cardiovascular awareness? Cardiovascular awareness and awareness program is an educational, nutritional, and exercise program directed primarily to school-going children and adults in order to detect, prevent, and treat, which we label as DPT, detect, prevent, and treat those with cardiovascular diseases. This program is anchored by teachers who have been trained by a team of highly trained health personnel through reinforcing behaviors of exercise, good hygiene, stress management, and sound nutrition that develop and maintain a heart-healthy lifestyle. Currently, a Nigerian health tech company known as MedTech Africa is championing a groundbreaking project that promotes cardiovascular health habits in Nigerian primary and secondary schools, targeting 320 schools with the aim of screening and educating 120,000 students aged 5 to 17. Of course, the adults will benefit by keying into the program, to the school program, through webinars like this and through group training. So how do we get to understand the cardiovascular system? This is not a physiology or anatomy class, but I just say that cardiovascular system consists of the heart and the blood vessels that move blood around the body. The blood pumped through your heart supply vital organs, vital oxygen and nutrients throughout your body. So what do we know about the heart? The heart is unique compared to other organs in the body since it starts functioning before it is fully formed. After fertilization, the first indication of development of the human heart is between 16th and 19th day, and by the 22nd day, the heart begins to beat. By 28th day, blood circulation begins to go around the whole body. By then, the heart is approximately 4 millimeters in length. And this happens even before the woman realizes she's pregnant, because the embryo is very small to be detected by ultrasound at this time. So the heart beats about 100 times daily, or about 2.5 billion times over a 70-year lifetime. Anybody who's 70 here now should have known that his heart has been beating for 2.5 billion times. So heart disease is a major cause of death in the world, and about 30% of all deaths in the world are caused by cardiovascular disease. The heart is the engine of the body. It is the first and the last sign of life. So what is lifestyle of wellness? Now, growing old is good and, of course, inevitable. But staying healthy as a young person and growing into a healthy old age is more important and starts from the day we were conceived. For our children to live a lifestyle of wellness throughout their lives, parents and teachers must guide them into embarking on a voyage of lifestyle changes or modification from childhood, and anything they have to do health-wise must be done in moderation. It is a well-known statement that the errors we made as young people will definitely visit and haunt us as unwanted health visitors in old age. To understand the significance of wellness, it is important to understand how it is linked to health. According to WHO, health is defined as being a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So wellness, on the other hand, is defined as an act of practicing healthy habits on a daily basis to attain better physical and mental health outcomes, so that instead of just surviving, you are thriving. Key areas of our lifestyle that are considered dimensions of overall wellness include the previous parental care, our social connection, the exercises we're able to do, nutrition, hygiene, sleep, and mindfulness. Each one has an impact on our physical and mental health. By making simple and healthy choices on a daily basis, you're on the pathway towards reducing stress, having positive social interactions, and achieving optimal wellness. So you are encouraged to start with small changes within each dimension and take it one day at a time. You don't have to run a marathon or go on a restrictive diet to implement wellness into everyday life. So what is cardiovascular health? Cardiovascular health refers to the health of the heart and the blood vessels. The cardiovascular system consists of the heart and the blood vessels, as I've already mentioned. The blood pumps through the heart, supplies vital oxygen and nutrients. So being able to perform moderate intensity physical activities such as brisk walking without chest pain or tightness or difficulty in breathing means that your cardiovascular system is supplying your body with adequate oxygen that it needs. We have situations of poor cardiovascular health. This is a harbinger of cardiovascular disease. Now, failure to maintain a good cardiovascular health leads to cardiovascular disease, a term that describes the diseases of the heart, blood vessels, or organs supplied by these vessels. Blood flow to the heart, brain, or body can be reduced or be blocked because of one, thrombosis, or what you call blood clots, arteriosclerosis. This is a buildup of fatty deposits or plaques inside an artery, leading to hardening and narrowing of the artery. This may give rise to high blood pressure, stroke, acute myocardial infarction, or what we call heart attack, heart failure, kidney disease, reduced vision, or even blindness from retinopathy. So this is a picture of a healthy heart. You can see you see reddish, no much fat around it. Now this is a picture of an unhealthy heart surrounded by visceral fat, yellowish. So the aim of this presentation is to introduce the practice of cardiovascular awareness in order to prevent, detect, and treat the consequences of cardiovascular disease among children and adults. The vision is to increase awareness of issues that can cause cardiovascular disease in the populace, while giving simple direction that promotes cardiovascular health and healthy habits amongst us. So, mission for the school-age students. In Nigeria, there's an international program sponsored by Novartis Foundation in collaboration with MedTech Africa, Ministries of Health and Education to carry out the following: physical screening of 120 students, 5 to 17 years in 320 schools, introduction of health, physical and nutritional education curriculum to schools, training of teachers in cardiovascular awareness program. So this is the agenda for teachers in schools: to deliver health education, to assist the health team in conducting screenings, promote healthy eating among students, promote body and oral hygiene, promote physical activity, encourage lifestyle management in parents and students. This is the circulatory system. We don't have to worry about this. So, basic anatomy of the circulatory system. The circulatory system is made up of one, the heart. This is a muscular organ that pumps blood throughout the body. Then the blood vessels, which include the arteries, veins, and capillaries. Then blood, made up of red and white cells, plasma, and platelets. The heart has 4 chambers, 2 on top and 2 at the bottom. The 2 bottom chambers are the right ventricle and left ventricle. These pump blood out of the heart. A wall called the interventricular septum is between and separates the 2 ventricles. The 2 top chambers are the right atrium and left atrium. They receive blood entering the heart. A wall called the interatrial septum is between and separates the atria. So this is just what we mean by that. This is the left ventricle. All right, the electrical activity of the heart. The heart receives electrical impulse from the body, telling when to increase or reduce the rate of pumping according to the need of the person. For example, when one is sleeping, it pumps just enough to provide for the lower amount of oxygen needed by the body at rest. If you are having nightmares or dreams, the blood supply, of course, will increase because it's like doing exercise. But when somebody is exercising, the heart pumps faster so that the muscles get more oxygen and can work harder. What's the function of the heart? The heart is a pump, usually beating about 60 to 100 times per minute. With each heartbeat, the heart sends blood throughout our bodies, carrying oxygen to every cell. After delivering the oxygen, the blood returns to the heart. The heart then sends the blood to the lungs to pick up more oxygen. This cycle repeats over and over, So the circulatory system plays a critical role in keeping a person alive, as it is critical to the maintenance of healthy organs, muscles, and tissues. The cardiovascular system or pumps blood from the heart to the lungs, where blood receives oxygen and it becomes oxygenated blood. This oxygen-rich blood from the lung then returns to the heart. The heart then sends oxygenated blood through arteries to the rest of the body. The vein carry oxygen-poor blood back to the heart to restart the circulation process over. So the circulatory system has 3 cycles. Two of the cycles come from the heart and are known as pulmonary and systemic circulation. The third one is known as the coronary cycle. Is the heart internal circulation. So blood circulates through the heart and through these cycles in a continuous pattern. So let's move on. So what's the function of the circulatory system? The circulatory system is made up of blood vessels that carry blood away from and towards the heart. Arteries carry blood away from the heart, and veins carry blood back to the heart. Therefore, the function of the circulatory system is to move blood throughout the body. This blood circulation keeps organs, muscles, and tissues healthy and working and keeping the person alive. Our circulatory system carries oxygen, nutrients, and hormones to cells. It also removes waste products like carbon dioxide. These roadways travel in one direction only to keep things going where they should. What are the type of waste products carried by circulatory system? We have carbon dioxide from respiration. Then you have other chemical byproducts from the organs. Then waste things from what we eat and drink. So what are the risk factors for cardiovascular disease? The risk factors for cardiovascular disease are entrenched in a tripod of genetics, environment, and lifestyle. The environmental and lifestyle challenges include air pollution, tobacco smoking, sedentary lifestyle, excessive alcohol, unhealthy diets rich in salt and saturated fat but low in fresh fruits and vegetables. Certain cardiovascular diseases are genetically transmissible, e.g., certain primary hypertension and diabetes. So there are three risk factors. It's either the person gets cardiovascular disease through a genetic route, or the environment you're staying, and or by your lifestyle. So what are the pathological conditions and disorders of the cardiovascular system? Many conditions can affect the heart. The health of the circulatory system include one, what we call aneurysm. This is just a bulge, a weakness in the artery. It becomes weak and bulges. Occurs when the artery wall weakens and enlarges. The weak spot can bulge as blood moves through the artery. The weak spot may tear, causing a life-threatening rupture. Aneurysm can affect any artery, but the aortic aneurysms, abdominal aortic aneurysms, and brain aneurysms are the most common. What are the complications of poor cardiovascular health, healthy living? High blood pressure. Here, the arteries work hard to circulate blood throughout the body. When the pressure, that is the force of blood against the blood vessels wall, gets too high, high blood pressure develops. When the artery becomes less elastic, less blood and oxygen reach the organ like the heart. High blood pressure puts one at risk for other cardiovascular diseases like heart attack and stroke. Now, arteriosclerosis, which is plaque deposit or narrowing of the blood vessels. High cholesterol and diabetes can lead to fat and other substances collecting in the blood. These substances form deposits called plaques on artery walls. This condition is known as arteriosclerosis or hardened arteries. Arteriosclerosis increases the risk of blood clot and stroke, coronary artery disease, peripheral artery disease, heart attacks, and kidney disease. We also have venous disease. These tend to affect veins in the lower body. Problems like chronic venous insufficiency and varicose veins occur when blood cannot flow back to the heart and pools in the leg veins. Deep vein thrombosis, this is a blood clot in the leg. It can lead to a life-threatening pulmonary embolism. So what is the nutritional plan? Our nutritional plan for schools and everybody include healthy eating and nutrition. We try to tell you the classes of food and then food-related diseases. So what is a healthy diet? A healthy diet is a diet that maintains or improves overall health. A healthy diet provides the body with essential nutrition, which include fluid, micronutrients such as protein, micronutrients such as vitamins, and adequate fiber and energy. Healthy eating is one of the best things you can do to prevent and control health problems such as heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and some cancers. So in choosing weight loss program, it is wise to pick one that will meet your needs and give you long-term success. It is always good to focus on steady weight loss, about 1 to 2 pounds a week. Healthy eating can help protect your heart and prevent you from developing heart disease. Healthy diet is not about good and bad food or restrictive diets. It is about making small changes that can continue long term. Focus on different foods you eat regularly over days, weeks, and months. Choose foods for nutritionists heart healthy eating program pattern to help make healthy choices. The quantity is a big factor. How much you eat is also important. Use professional recipes and meal plans to include healthy food in your eating patterns. You might have heard that changing the way you eat can impact your health. That is true. And rice or starchy tubers or roots, legumes, fruits, and vegetables, then food from animal sources, fish, meat, eggs, and milk. Now, there is an eating diet regimen that I will recommend for everybody. It's called the KPP regimen. K stands for king, P stands for prince, the other P stands for pauper. So if in the morning during breakfast, it is better to eat before 9 a.m. Eat as a king. How does a king eat? The king has all the food. He just picks some few basic things, maybe 1 or 2 slices of bread, 1 egg, a cup of tea or coffee, plus fruits. Lunch should be before 3 p.m. Eat as a prince. A prince knows that the father has all the food, so that's the time to eat the heavy meals, the ones we Nigerians call swallow, pounded yam, amala, eba, and what have you. But in eating, please, you go with 1 bowl only. A lot of vegetables, there are more of fish, and less of red meat. If you're going to eat meat, eat white meat like chicken with skin peeled off. Then dinner before 7 p.m., eat as a pauper. A pauper is that it doesn't have. That's the time you can just take pap with 2 or 3 rolls of akara, or 2 big spoons of beans or plantain and vegetables and fruits, or just tea and biscuit. Please, we must close the kitchen by 7 p.m. Now, eating a late night puts people at danger of heart attack and strokes. That is a warning that the experts have given. Adults should ideally eat nothing after 7 p.m. Early dinner gives the body time to wind down and rest. Dinner within 2 hours of going to bed keeps the body on high alert, and blood pressure doesn't fall properly overnight. So in a healthy person, blood pressure drops by at least 10% when they go to sleep. So eating late can do more damage to the heart than having a diet high in salt. So in the beginning, this is what we have been doing to our children. They want to go to all these fast food joints. They go and eat burger and all sorts. This is how it starts. And then this is the final outcome. So poor diet is one of the leading risk factors for heart disease. It is said that you are what you eat. What you eat and drink impacts several heart disease risk factors, including blood pressure, cholesterol, obesity, and diabetes. So let's move on. This is evidence of fruits and veggies. Okay, what are the drinks to avoid? Water is the drink of choice for heart health. If you are looking for a healthy drink other than water, either for flavor or for enjoyment, you can opt for the following drink below. Sparkling water, unflavored milk, plant-based milks with added calcium like soy, almond, oats, rice milk. You can also take tea. You can take coffee, a small glass of 100% fruit or vegetable juice. Sugary drinks are not recommended, and drinking alcohol is not recommended for heart health. Gluttony is a disease. Avoid overeating. The ideal portion size. Just eat the ideal portion size. How much you eat is another important part of eating well for your heart. There are some foods we are eating too much of, some foods that we don't eat enough of. And in general, the size of our meals has grown over time. The amount you should eat depends on many factors, including the type of food served. Use a plate with healthy proportions from different groups as shown below. Now, a heart-healthy eating plate should make up of 50% vegetables. These are vegetables. And 25% carbohydrate. And then 25% protein and oils and herbs and spices. Benefit of changing diet. Eating healthy food can help you recover and reduce the risk of more heart problems. A balanced, healthy diet can decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease, events, and mortality, and cardiovascular risk factors such as high blood pressure and high cholesterol. What about exercise? We must know the importance of exercise to our body, how much exercise we need, and the effect of the sedentary lifestyle and type of exercise to do. Physical activity is any body movement that works your muscles and requires more energy than resting. Walking, running, dancing, swimming, yoga, and gardening are a few examples of physical activity. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, physical activity generally refers to the movement that enhances health. Physical activity is recommended for everyone from 3 years of age and older. Okay, the one that concerns us more is aerobic exercise. So exercise is physical activity that is planned and structured, such as lifting weights, taking an aerobic class, or playing on a sports team. Aerobic activity is the type that benefits your heart and lungs the most. By understanding the different types of physical activity, benefits, and recommendation, one can create a plan to add physical activity into the person's healthy lifestyle. So aerobic activity, this moves large muscles such as those in your arms and legs. Aerobic activity is also called endurance activity. Aerobic activity increases the heart rate, makes your heart to beat faster than usual. It increases the respiratory rate. You also breathe harder during this type of activity. Over time, regular aerobic activity makes your heart and lungs stronger and able to work better. Let's move on. Importance of aerobic exercise to the heart. Moderate to vigorous intensive aerobic activities are better for the heart than light intensity activities. However, even light intensity activities are better than no activity at all. The level of intensity depends on how hard you have worked to do the activity. To do the same activity, people who are less fit usually have to work harder than people who are more fit. So for example, what is light intensity activity for one person may be moderate intensity activity for another. If every day you've been doing 5 kilometers, that could just be light intensity for you. And then somebody just starts today. If he tries to do that 5 kilometers, that is severe intensity for him. So what are the examples of aerobic exercise? Depending on your fitness level, aerobic activity can be light, moderate, or vigorous in intensity. Pushing a grocery cart around the store, gardening such as digging or hoeing causes your heart rate to go up. Walking, hiking, jogging, running. Water aerobics or swimming laps. bicycling, skateboarding, rollerblading, and jumping rope, ballroom dancing and aerobic dancing, tennis, soccer, hockey, and baseball. All these are types of aerobic activities. So walking affects fitness, requires no special preparation or planning, and it is absolutely free. And once you can get a trainer to wear, you know, if you hate walking or refuse to do something else, walking around 10,000 to 12,000 steps a day will help you lose weight. If you have a counter, you can walk around your house. But once you can clock between 10,000 to 12,000 steps, you're on your way to losing weight. Studies have shown that those who log in more pedometer steps per day weigh less with lower BMI. An inactive person logs in maximum of 3,000 steps per day with the daily routine of moving around the house or office. Doing 10,000 steps a day is equivalent to walking about 5 miles per day. And this approximates 30 to 60 minutes of walking per day. This is the minimum exercise limit to avoid most health hazards. We've already mentioned some of the benefits of physical exercise. It makes your heart and lungs to be fit. It reduces blood pressure up to 10 millimeters of mercury. When you lose weight, you discover that you are fitter, blood sugar drops, and then it helps your brain to, think better. So let's move on. So how do we prevent cardiovascular disease? You must find healthy ways to ease stress. By the way, stress is one of those things that can cause cardiovascular disease, but that's not topic for today. Stress can help increase blood pressure. It can make people to eat unnecessarily, and then they become obese, and then develop diabetes, and then develop BP, heart attack, and so on. So find healthy ways to ease stress. Take adequate rest daily. Maintain and control a healthy weight, and you check your BMI. The BMI, basal metabolic index, is calculated using your height and your weight. If the normal BMI is 18 to 24 for females, then 19 to 25 for males. BMI more than 25, the person is overweight. BMI above 30, the person is obese. And when it gets to 40, we say the person is morbidly obese. So many conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol, those who are already in this condition, once you are managing it well, take your medications, check your sugar, check your BP, do exercise, eat healthy diet, then you're on your way to also keeping a healthy heart. No smoking. If you smoke, quit, because cigarette smoking is associated with increased blood pressure, coronary artery disease, which is heart attack, peptic ulcer disease, stomach ulcer, laryngitis, and of course, the mighty lung cancer. So go for regular medical checkups and ensure you keep your hospital appointment regularly. Tell the doctor about any family history of heart problems. Let the doctor know if you have any chest pain, trouble sleeping, or dizzy or fainting spells. And if you feel like your heart sometimes goes really fast or skips a bit, then you let the doctor know. For those who are not hypertensive, regular BP check is every 3 months. Now, this is the standard we see in developed countries. In places like Nigeria, I think anybody who can check his BP every week should do so, even if you're normal, because the situations at times are not normal. Carry out all the tests, doing annual medical tests. You must have a time you do annual medical tests. You must do ECG, blood sugar, urinalysis, chest X-ray if requested, if needed, stool analysis, full blood count, And then for males, PSA for prostate, for females, mammogram every 2 years, and cervical smear every 2 years. Check your fasting blood sugar and cholesterol every 6 months. This is, again, a standard abroad, you know. Limit salt intake. Do not add extra salt to your meal. Usually, the normal requirement of salt is just 6 grams. 6 grams is just a teaspoon. Teaspoon. That's what you need in 24 hours. But when we enter our kitchen, see our mothers, our wives, some even with hand, they just pack salt and drop it into the distance. If you are using seasonings like all this Maggi and all that, I actually recommend that you should not add salt anymore. Those ones contain enough salt. Drink minimum of 3 liters of water a day for optimum kidney excretory function. And please stop drinking by 7 p.m. If you drink after 7 p.m., you're likely to wake up 2 or 3 times a night to ease yourself. This disturbs your sleep pattern, and that also can worsen your cardiovascular health. You must have adequate rest and sleep daily for the following reason. When you sleep well, it gives stronger immunity. Sleep is essential for normal nervous function and ability to function both physically and mentally. Sleep helps the brain commit new information to memory through a process called memory consolidation. Sleep is essential for normal healthy cell growth, especially in children. In children and teens, sleep also helps support growth and development. They should get minimum of 8 hours sleep per day. Adults should get about 6 to 8 hours. You know, some of us have been on 4 hours a day, but it was because of the kind of profession we are in. But we still try to get rest during the day. So these are good effects of sleep. So in conclusion, the Cardiovascular Awareness Program is an education and an exercise program directed primarily to students in the primary and secondary schools in order to prevent cardiovascular disease or detect those at risk and ensure treatment for those with cardiovascular disease. This will be done by teachers who have been trained by a team of highly trained health personnel through reinforcing behaviors of exercise, stress management, hygiene, and sound nutrition that develop and maintain a healthy lifestyle. So we're encouraged to practice healthy lifestyle by doing things in moderation and having time to regular health checks. Our diet should consist of 50% fruits and vegetables. Please note that that is one of the areas that is actually very lacking. Aerobic exercise, 30 to 60 minutes for 3 to 5 times a week. Have an adequate sleep, minimum of 6 hours. This should be a way of life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, especially for giving us time for questions and conversation around this topic. Yes, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for those already celebrating and applauding Major General Ajemba. Please continue to acknowledge him in the chat box. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to give you a few minutes to take a cup of water or something. We would launch our poll now and then come back to you for questions. And ladies and gentlemen around the call, please put your questions in the Q&A box. Don't put your questions in the chat box because it will be difficult for us to get to the questions. Thank you very much, sir. And before we launch our poll, the entire community, the team, the trustees, partners, everybody associated with the Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation would like to wish all our teachers and educationists around the call a very happy World Teachers Day. Today is World Teachers Day. We celebrate you all. For those of us who have parents that are teachers or retired headmistress and all of that, we want to celebrate every educationist around the call. in whatever capacity you've done mentoring for younger ones. We celebrate you all. Thank you so much for the work you're doing. And we trust God that we will continue to celebrate you here. The talk that your reward is in heaven begins to, we don't work with that. We will celebrate you here and you will get your reward here. Thank you very much all. I'm going to launch the poll. Please answer the questions quickly. There are just 5 questions. Yes. Mr. Edison, have I launched the poll?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes,
thank
you
you,
are.
sir. Okay. So there are 291 of us around the call right now, and we'll work with the percentage of responses to begin to take our questions. I mean, to stop the poll and begin to take our questions. Please answer the questions. Okay, the number is going up, but not so good. Okay. Question, Q&A box. Thank you very much. Please, can you please, as many people as possible, take the poll? We need to deal with it as quickly as possible. I can see just 37% so far. Please, if you signed up, even if you were invited by someone, please do respond to the questions. Yes, and the responses, we will be using the responses to help us determine the winners of the prizes, because we will be able to track your referrals through it. Please help us. Okay, I think I can leave it on while we begin to deal with the questions. Edison, are you with me?
Yes, please. I can hand it from my end.
Okay, please, so leave it on for now. We're still at 46%. Let's give people as much opportunity to respond. Yes, sir. I hope you've rested your voice a bit.
Sure.
There's so many questions for you. And I want to thank you for simplifying the presentation. I was hoping that there won't be too many medical jargons that would put my accounting brain to a little bit of stress, but you so simplified it. There are many questions. I'll go quickly to the Q&A box and pick the ones that we can take from there. I do have some of mine. Now, there's a question from Daniel Chukwu, just a clarification, sir. He says he's a medical student from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and he's not familiar with what you said about smoking and ulcers. I think I heard smoking and cancer, not ulcer, but do you want to clarify that, sir?
Yes, smoking can give you ulcer because there are many components in cigarettes. Some of them are ulcer provoking, so they provoke the acidic content of the stomach, and that can lead to ulcer, apart from cancer,
Okay. Thank you, sir, because I know you talked about lung cancer, and I'm very glad I took the question. I didn't use my accounting brain to answer him. And Daniel Chukwu, if you would like to be mentored by Major General Ajemba, we always try to connect people. It's one of the things we do in this community, the foundation. Since you're a medical student, I'm sure he would be happy to mentor you. Thank you for joining the program.
Sure, I went to UNN, so he's a small lion. He's coming up.
I was just going to say it, that the oppression of lions around, especially Admiral Komolafe, ever reminding me that you people, graduates of UNN, are lions.
And lionesses, yes.
Lionesses, yes, sir. So thank you for accepting to mentor him. I hope he reaches out. You can send us an email at rehobothDream@gmail.com, and Mr. Edison will gladly connect you. Now, sir, this is funny, but I want you to take the question. He says, is anonymous, how much of sleep is too much to take? You mentioned minimum of 6 hours. What is maximum?
For an adult, 24 hours should be divided into 3, 1/3 for sleep, that's 8 hours.
Okay.
1/3 for work,
okay,
and 1/3 for pleasure, other things. So
I like that.
If you now go beyond 8 hours sleeping, the scriptural concept comes in that a little sleep, a little folding of arm, it says poverty will overtake you like an arm robber. So you need to get up and walk. If you oversleep, you can develop obesity. You just eat, sleep, then all the other heart conditions can begin to manifest. For those growing, 8 hours, babies can sleep for 18 hours, and neonates. But as you're getting older, it shortens, Young adults, 8 hours. Adults like us, we sleep 4 to 6 hours. There are people that I recommend minimum of 6 to 8.
Okay.
Above 8 hours for an adult who has stopped growing, I think that is laziness.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. You talked about avoiding too much of fluids and water before you go to bed so that your sleep is not interrupted. If someone is able to get this minimum number of hours, in spite of waking up several times in the night, what do you say to that?
The problem is that when some people wake up to ease themselves, they find it difficult to fall asleep.
Go back,
Yeah. Those that can fall asleep, okay. But you see, that sleep is interrupted. Maybe I've slept for 3 hours, you woke up. The body has registered 3 hours. When you now wake up, the body tries to start afresh because there are different processes of sleeping, REM, non-REM, and so on. The body starts afresh and you may not get the required time the body needs for relaxation,
Okay, thank you very much, sir. A quick one. Must we do the 10,000 steps daily? Can 6,000 steps suffice, especially if you are over 50 years?
Well, the minimum for those who are just at home is 3,000 steps, Even if you're 50 years, some of us are 60 plus, we do that 10 to 12, unless when condition does not allow, maybe it's raining or some other things. What we are talking about is heart, what will give you a very good heart, healthy condition, If you don't have arthritis, you don't have spondylosis, things that can hinder you from just walking. You can actually do it in your house, from the sitting room to the bedroom, walk back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you know, sit down, continue. You don't have to do it all at once, you know. We're talking about something that will help the heart. 50 years is still a young person. I go to work, I see people are 80-something, even beating me, and I'm like, wow, you know. General Basenjo, I visited the farm. I saw him very early in the morning, 5 a.m., jogging, not less than 2 hours every day, he told me. So why would somebody who's 50 compare himself to somebody who's 80-something or 90? It's good to improve on our exercise. It helps the heart. Benefits are too many. If you don't get to that 10,000, you don't get all those benefits. That's the thing.
Thank you very much, sir. You, in your presentation, you talked about professional recipes, that we should work with professionals to make sure that we're eating right and doing the right things. I want to ask a quick question, sir. What's the place of herbal supplements in curbing cardiovascular diseases? You know, like people would go on taking certain herbal tablets. You know, there's some of them that are being marketed around. I don't want to mention names, but some people are kind of like addicted to supplements. They call them herbal supplements, just to deal with their bodies. What's your take on that, sir? And I want to also add another question because it's related. Somebody wants to verify if dates, tiger nut, and zobo are good for the heart.
Dates, tiger nuts,
and zobo.
And zobo. Okay.
Zoborodo.
Okay. First, you see, herbal supplements.
Supplements, you know, those things that, yeah.
Yeah. These herbs are on the trees, or you know, if you are taking adequate fruits, you don't need any herbal supplements. All the things you need, whether if you're eating tomato, carrot, onion, mango, banana, watermelon, pineapple, and so on, they all contain different elements, you know, micronutrients, vitamins, A to whatever, zinc, magnesium, and so on. But what you see happens is that these herbal supplements contain high concentration of certain elements, you know? So, and none contains all the needed supplements you need in the body. If you eat about 4 or 5 fruits, you have covered almost 95% of all the supplements you need. So what I say is that our people are spending, and those supplements are very costly. You will see one jar going for 20,000, 25. Some even, in fact, the costlier the people buy. Meanwhile, if you can use that to buy fruit every day, you'll be very okay. I'm not against herbal supplement, but if you get a herbal supplement, read what it contains. And then a little check, you find out that a carrot, everything that has to do with sight, but you know, this thing is there. You know, calcium that you need, you can get it by eating banana, you know, potassium and all that. So for instance, honestly, I've not been using supplement for anything. I just get fresh fruits and vegetables daily, you know. You know, they come to me every day. If I take, what is the commonest one now? This one, that's garlic. They say if you take it, your BP will go. I've seen a guy when I was in Ibadan taking garlic. I kept warning him until he had stroke. You know, garlic can reduce BP just about between 2 and 5 millimeters of mercury. That's not enough. You can take it as a supplement, but not the main thing. You know, they tell you moringa cures everything. Okay. people have been taking moringa, they still come to clinic with problems. And I tell them, these are supplements. You don't have to rely too much on them. If you take fresh fruits and vegetables, you are good to go.
Thank you very much, sir. That's very clear. In your presentation, you talked about, you said at bedtime, there's 10% drop in the blood pressure at rest or at bedtime. So what's the best timing for people to take blood pressure controlling medication? Is it in the morning or in the evening?
This issue has always come up severally. The standard thing is that all your worries and stress starts from the morning. When you wake up, that's the time you now know that I've not paid school fees, I have to run. And these are the stressful situations. So we normally advocate that you take your BP medications in the morning to keep the BP low or keep it normal. Now, there are conditions that make us recommend taking BP at night. There are people that will never relax, very anxious, even when they are sleeping, you see them, they are fist, they are like this. So these people have high levels of adrenaline. In such people, we recommend certain BP medication, not all the beta blockers that help bring down the adrenaline, and help them to relax. When once you are tensed up, you can't sleep. So BP mostly should be taken in the morning, special cases in the night, special cases morning and evening. So
thank you for clarifying, sir. Thank you for clarifying. And I'm sure you would also say they should, of course, connect with their doctors for specifics, like you would always say, right? Thank you, sir. Now, sir, I have a question. Most often you find that people that have high blood pressure end up having diabetes, or people that have diabetes, end up having high blood pressure. How is it something, is it a combo? If you have diabetes, must you end up having BP, or if you have high blood pressure, must you end up having diabetes? What's the relationship between the two?
Okay. You can have basically high BP without having diabetes. But if you have diabetes, the chances of having high blood pressure is almost 80 to 100%. The reason is that the gene responsible for diabetes, has very close to it the gene responsible for hypertension. It's just like a coin, the front and the back. So while diabetes, if that gene is affected, it's likely that the person will develop high BP by many ways. One, the complication of diabetes narrows the blood vessels. Glycation, it narrows the blood vessels. And when the blood vessels are narrowed, pressure increases, and that leads to high blood pressure. But the second thing is that it's the same genetic gene. They are attached in the same locus. So diabetes will push to hypertension. But somebody that has only hypertension, that means it's a standalone thing. He cannot get diabetes by lifestyle. Maybe it's not just eating anyhow, sugary things, you can develop diabetes. But anybody that has diabetes should watch out for hypertension. But if you have hypertension, you may not necessarily have diabetes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. A quick question, another question. You talked about weight. You talked about healthy BMI and the relationship to high blood pressure. Of course, and I so much like the recommendations on the lifestyle changes and the diet and all of that. There have been questions in the chat box asking us if you will be sharing the slides with them.
If I should share the slide.
Yeah, some people have requested for the slides.
Yeah,
okay,
no problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, so you talked about healthy BMIs and weight. That this question is 2 in 1. Why do some people have low blood pressure, and what should they watch out for? And how can they improve this? And what's the relationship between weight and low blood pressure? I've seen slim people who say they suffer from low blood pressure, and I've seen people who are on the big side saying they suffer from low blood pressure. Can you please educate us a little bit on low blood pressure?
Okay. Low blood pressure could be due to certain absence of hormones. You know, there are hormones that actually increase heart rate, which will now make the heart to contract more, and then that will increase blood pressure. You know, so that hormone, like the catecholamines, when once is absent, or not really absent, maybe reduced in production, it's not the forcefulness of the heart contraction is reduced, and that makes certain people to have low BP. So it could be from hormone. It could also be from the heart itself. If the heart has dilated, it's not able to contract, the person will call what is called decapitated hypertension. That is, there's no BP, you know. But generally, people are not taking adequate minerals, potassium, salt, and sodium. Would definitely have low BP. In fact, that is one of the reasons why we say take low salt diet. Because if you take low salt diet, it reduces your BP. There are people that don't take salt, you know. There are people who are vegetarians, you know, they don't take salt. So they suffer from low BP, you know. Weight and BP, there is no real correlation. There are very slim people with very high BP, okay. You know. There's no correlation. But one thing we also know that when somebody is obese, it puts pressure on the heart. It's likely to have high BP. There are obese people who have normal BP. They have good body frame to carry their weight. But definitely, obesity will always lead to high BP, you know, because of the process. Cholesterol is deposited, it narrows the vessels, and then, you know, and then I showed you the normal heart and the heart that is covered by fat.
Fat, yeah.
That is an evidence of, you know, this is put pressure on the heart. It can't contract the way it should contract. So for people with low BP, they should see their physicians for screening, check their hormone, check the heart. You can do an echocardiogram, and you know. But in the interim, they can always add a teaspoon of salt in the water they drink. You know, in fact, when people take antihypertensive and their BP crashes, what we do is tell the person, quickly put teaspoon of salt and drink, and then lie down and raise the foot on the bed. You know, so I don't know whether there's weight and BP. I've answered that.
Yeah, you've answered that.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. There are quite a number of questions, and we want to not to extend this for more than 2 hours. There's a funny one, sir. Well, I don't know if it's funny, but it's very practical. So heart attacks happen during sexual activities. What causes heart attacks and during sexual activities, and what's your take? How can people avoid having heart attack during sexual activities?
Okay, there are two basic reasons for that. One, somebody whose BP is not well controlled, you know, that indulges in sexual activity is a candidate for heart attack, because at the time of orgasm, those few seconds, the systolic BP goes up by 100 millimeters of mercury. So imagine Maybe somebody has a BP of 170, 100. And then at orgasm, it shoots to 270. That is a precursor for heart attack. Then the heart rate also doubles. He has a heart rate of 100. The thing shoots to 200. When you have an increased heart rate, an increased BP, it's likely that probably the patient can throw an embolus or burst an artery in the heart or in the brain. It's not only heart attack, it can also have stroke. Then the second one is people that use sex-enhancing drugs. You know, sex-enhancing drug for the man, it does not increase pleasure. I mean, okay, take a 50-something or 60-year-old man, you know, he takes a sex-enhancing drug. The heart is already sick. He has a weak heart. So what that does is to prolong the sex. So he's pushing the heart against, it's just like having a bad engine and you're firing it. You know, it's not a new engine. It's old. You're firing it. And then suddenly the engine will give up. Let me just put it in that layman's term. Sex-enhancing drugs, poorly controlled BP and DM. I have certified nothing less than 5 people dead in hotels, you know. Then when you add alcohol, you know, there's what you call holiday heart syndrome. Alcohol has a way of stimulating the heart to beat excessively fast, you know. Then they add it with the sex-enhancing drug, also increases heart rate. At orgasm, the BP shoots like that. If the person, when he says it's coming, is actually going beyond.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. You know, you're just simplifying things and making it so easy for us. And I know that the teachers around the call are taking a lot back. Thank you so very much, sir. There's a question that I know that you're not the C&C, like you will say it in your military parlance, Commander-in-Chief. And I know you're not the Minister of Finance, but I would put a question to you because it's relevant for conversation and see how the Holy Spirit will help you to answer this question. Architect Ademola Adebanjo says, well, you were invited by Mr. Gushola. Thank you, Mr. Gushola, for inviting him. We know in the past, the formula was 111, but today, 1 is becoming very scarce. Now, with the state of the economy, we have people, you know, who are eating 100 or 010 or 001. How do we incorporate your recommendation, you know, into the prevailing formula, if you know what I mean, sir, of how hard things are? That's what Architect Ademola Adebanjo has said in the Q&A box. But I have a question for you, sir. And the question was that, you know, with the decreasing purchasing power of earnings of people, you know, most teachers are government employees, some are, you know, employed by private school owners and all of that. And they pay the Naira, the purchasing power of Naira is on the decrease. What happens is that when people's financials are impacted, they begin to unconsciously, or you know, limit their intake of drugs that they have been put on. I think the word you use is routine drugs. I think that's what you say in the medical field. People who have already, you know, been diagnosed with high blood pressure and have been put on regulatory medication. Now, with less Naira in people's hands, people will begin to skip that. What's your recommendation? How do you advise that people handle this? Just adding to Architect Adebanjo's question of used to be 111, now it's 010 and all of that.
Okay, let's start with the 111, now 0010. You know, the truth is that everybody is impacted by that. I also noted that we actually overeat. We overeat. You ask yourself, these Oyibos, they don't eat swallow, and they are looking healthy. So what is it? I had I went to Oshodi one time and I invited some area boys looking hefty to come and help me offload hospital beds. They were looking obese with, but there was no strength because they were also using drugs. So what I want to say is that if you look at the schedule, if you are used to eating 4 wraps of eba or pounded yam, the recommended this is just 1 wrap. 1 wrap. So the economy has actually helped us to take away overeating, Then breakfast is good, light. It's only lunch that is slightly heavy. Then dinner that is also for pauper regime, very poor, so it's also very, very light. But that notwithstanding, I think the other aspect of the economy is left for the politicians to improve our economy so that things will be better, We have issues with people can no longer buy their drugs, because of decreased purchasing power. But there's something the government could do about it. You won't believe it that in developed countries, there's nothing like branded drugs used in NHIS, UK, Canada, India. These places I know, For instance, let me give you the common one, Novax, which is amlodipine. The branded one is about 30,000 naira. But the same unbranded one is 6,000 naira. And people don't know. You go to pharmacy, they will push that Novax to you first. Unless you insist that I want unbranded one or any other brand. But we need government policy to actually ban branded drugs. Any drug that has lasted 5 years should no more be branded. That is the WHO standard. But Novax has been with us for 20-something years. They are still branded. So if India said that they have the population, so bring your drugs, the turnover is much. There's nothing like branded drugs. That will reduce, this thing. When I write drugs for people now, I write it unbranded in brackets so that the prescription they give the pharmacy, but the pharmacist wants to sell his drug, But they too, if they see that it's only unbranded people buy, they will stop buying from this manufacturer, those branded medication. This has also, food intake also has gone down because of poor purchasing power. So that aspect of increasing the purchasing power, it lies with the government. But there is something WHO recommended for African countries that annual health budget should be 15% of the national budget. Yeah. But most countries are doing 4 to 7%, far below what the WHO has recommended. That would have meant that there'd be more drugs in general hospitals for the poor, to take. So it is over to the government to do something about that.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And I think maybe just to add to your responses, there's going to be pressure on NGOs and foundations like yours who support, people, the less privileged and vulnerable people. We just pray that, foundations like yours would get more support and more partners so that you can help people who are, who need financial support with their medication and all of that. And thank you, sir, for what you and your partners are doing with that foundation. Thank you, sir. I'll give you a break. We'll soon wrap up, but let me just give you a break to rest your voice. And at this time, we want to celebrate the teachers again, the educators around the call. We want to wish you a very happy World Teachers Day. We're proud of what you're doing. Major General Ajemba will not be a medical doctor today if he wasn't taught. I'm an accountant. If I didn't have teachers in my life, I wouldn't be an accountant today. So we celebrate you and we applaud your efforts. And we pray that people who you are mentoring will appreciate you here while you're still with us, and your reward will not only be in heaven. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen who are in the teaching profession. We wish you a very happy World Teachers Day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please, I want you to put in a chat box, and it's going to attract extra points towards our prize. I want you to put 2 or 3 sentences of what you have benefited from the conversation with Dr. Ajemba today. Yes, that's what happens when you have so many titles. So I'm switching between Major General and Doctor, and I'm just holding back, not adding Pastor to his titles this morning. So please put in the chat box. For one, I learned that there are 3 risk possibilities for CVDs. He said genetic, environment, and lifestyle. And that was very, just put it all, summarized it for me. So please put in the chat box what you have gained from this conversation today. And thank you to the 319 people who took the poll. So, sir, there's a question now. I would like you to talk about how teachers and the educationists are on the call, how they can help children develop healthy habits on this subject matter. How can they help children develop healthy habits in schools? I remember, while talking, you said we should avoid crash program. We should start getting to the lifestyle, beneficiary lifestyle as early as possible. So the question is, how can the educators around the call inculcate this in their lives of the students and children that they teach?
Okay. Like I said, there's an African company. It's actually a Nigerian company, MedTech Africa, that is sponsored by Novartis Foundation to teach teachers on, cardiovascular wellness and awareness. So I've been involved in that. In Oyo State, we taught 500 teachers from how many local governments? It involved the state government. We taught the teachers basic things first, how to measure BP, blood glucose, height, weight, We also taught them the basic exercise they can do even in classroom, for 30 minutes. For instance, most of the primary schools in developed countries, in Canada, for instance, these primary schools, when they get there, the first thing the children do is exercise, and it's conducted by teachers. We have experts from physical and health education or kinetics department that join us to teach the teachers aerobic exercise that they can do with the kids, Then they also help to measure their vitals. And if they notice that this child has high blood pressure or the blood sugar, we give them the normal, they report to the health authority. And such child is picked up for further screening, and then maybe treatment. Then we have nutritionists that come with us to tell the teachers the kind of nutrition that parents can prepare for their children. They give them flyers. They give the children flyers to take back to the parents. You can see like some children come with burger, and I'll tell them to prepare, the kind of meals that is heart-friendly, So we are going from state to state. We finish Oyo State. We've done FCT. We're preparing to go to River State and then Lagos. These are the pilot states. There's a lot of bureaucracy to organize. It's a whole lot of things. But the teachers who are training in Oyo State are doing very well now. The FCT, they are doing very well. In 6 months' time, we go and check those children who are obese. We check those ones who are hypertensive again to see the outcome of the benefits. And they are trying to push this curriculum to become a national curriculum that will be implemented in all the schools. So that's what we are doing with teachers.
Thank you very much, sir. Is there information about this program that you're running online anyway? Is there a website where they can get information on this, or should they just send an email to you? Is there a website, sir?
There is a MedTech Africa. They have a website, and I'm sure some of their representatives might be here.
Okay, sir.
MedTech Africa.
MedTech Africa. Okay, sir.
But they can also send me email. I will forward it to them, and
yeah, what we'll do, I'll get the full details from you, and Mr. Edison and myself, we send out an email to the educationists or to everyone who registered for this program, so they can get more information on this program. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. It would be, I don't think it would be fair to not to discuss this question. There are so many questions that are almost like consultation questions. And I do understand people want to answer, yes, so many questions. So there are so many questions. So many people have asked the same question about headaches. You know, what's the relationship between headaches and high blood pressure? So I think there was one that says he wakes up, yeah, I've been having crazy migraine that I've used Panadol and paracetamol for, and it's not working. What's the cause of this? You know, what can trigger it? Is this related to CVD, sir? And some people say they wake up in the mornings and they have very, bad headaches. And there's so many people whose questions are, premised on headaches.
Okay. First, for the CVD, hypertension can present, the first warning could be headaches, frequent headaches, and you wake up with headaches. So that is a sign for you to go and check your blood pressure, But there are other causes of headaches. For instance, if you lock up your windows and you don't have enough circulation of air, what happens is that you breathe in, you take in all the oxygen, leaving only carbon dioxide. Now, when you start breathing carbon dioxide, it causes what you call vasodilatation in the brain. And now you wake up with headache. So that one is caused by lack of adequate oxygenation. Many people are, because of afraid of thieves coming in and all that, they don't open their window. So they don't have enough oxygen. So the solution to that is that immediately you open your window, oxygen comes in, carbon dioxide goes out, the headache begins to go down. Or you just go out in the open space, inhaling enough oxygen, it will displace the carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide. But there are tension headache due to anxiety, there are headache due to tumor, migraine headache. Migraine headache is, the high BP is not the cause of migraine headache. Rather, migraine headache can also increase BP. So somebody that has migraine should go to hospital for him to be treated, So headache could be a symptom of high BP, but there are many other things that can cause headache. Most people sleep in stuffy places.
Cross ventilation.
Yeah, no enough oxygen. That is very, and it continues every day. When they go out, they just have oxygen rushing. They feel okay. Or if they drink a cup of coffee, what coffee does is to reverse the vasodilatation, it constricts, and the headache goes. But he still needs to get oxygen.
Thank you very much, sir. We know the poverty level in Africa and all of that, and so congested homes and everything. So as much as possible, we should aim for cross ventilation and try and have enough oxygen around the house to combat headaches. But you also said people should go and check the cause of the headaches. Don't self-treat. Walk into a government hospital and find out, what is causing the headaches. I think in your presentation, you at some point alluded to the fact that we should not delay in, doing tests. I think you talked about annual tests and all of that. So whilst we know that in private hospitals, it costs some money, if we go to the government hospitals on time, there's a queue, but as soon as you realize or detect something in your body which is unusual, try and speak with someone as fast as you can. Thank you so much, sir. Afiz Bolahon says, can a 17-year-old student have high blood pressure? Can a 17-year-old have high blood pressure?
Yes, a 17-year-old can have high blood pressure because there are two types of hypertension. Primary hypertension, that is, the cause is unknown, could be genetic. But there is secondary hypertension, especially when you see hypertension in people under 20, you suspect that there is something, either it's hormone, either it's a problem in the kidney, especially adrenal gland, hormone, thyroid gland, So when you say a 17-year-old, we investigate all the secondary causes of hypertension. If nothing is found, then we look at the family history. If both parents are hypertensive, 60% of the children will become hypertensive at a young age, some under 20. You know, if one parent is hypertensive, 20% of the children will become hypertensive from 30, 40. That's what many people are into. But when both parents are hypertensive, the hypertension can come even on a 17-year-old. We've seen 17-year-olds like that. After we did the screening for secondary causes, we didn't find anything.
It's hereditary.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I don't know if this question is general or if it just relates to cardiovascular diseases. But the question is, what first aid should schools have? What first aids, as a minimum, what first aids should schools have?
Okay. There is a standard first aid box, you know, which is different. But apart from that, every school should have a basic BP monitoring electronic one. Should also have a defibrillator, AED. You know, that's part of the thing we teach teachers. If somebody collapses, how to do basic life support. Before you are calling for a nurse or doctor, you must be able to do basic life support. You know, keep the person going by mouth-to-mouth respiration, by cardiac massage, you know. So the cardiovascular things you need, BP monitoring, and that automated standard defibrillator. Inside the first aid kits, they are just iodine, spirit, cotton wool, bandages, you know, small, they may have glucose, you know, and things like that. You know, just things to clean wounds, you know, bandage something, you know. So
thank you very much, sir.
So that is
for the first aid box. Yeah. Yeah, there's a question asking that you explain the relationship or the correlation between cardiovascular problems and vision.
Vision.
Yes, cardiovascular issues and vision.
Okay. The eye is supplied by blood vessels, especially the retina. They have blood vessels. So when there is increase in blood pressure in the general organs, you know, it also affects the eye. There's what we call hypertensive retinopathy. The changes that you get in the heart or kidney also affects the eye. So the vessels can become very thin, can become blocked, so it reduces vision. And there are people that have had, you know, ischemia in the eyes. That is, there is reduced vision, reduced blood supply to the eye, and then the person becomes blind, you know. So hypertension affects every organ, including the eye.
Okay, sir. There's still quite a number of questions, but maybe I can just ask a few more, and then, you know, we'll have to take the rest outside the webinar. So the very first question that I have in the Q&A box, somebody says, anonymous attendee says, what makes the heart palpitate? Okay.
The normal heart rate is between 60 and 100, you know. Anything above that is tachycardia. The heart is beating faster than normal. There are things that can stimulate that. And one of them is high blood pressure. The high blood pressure can affect the heart rhythm. Other things like coffee, some people drink caffeine, you know, certain drugs can increase heart rate, even hard drugs, cocaine, all the narcotics, amphetamines, and so on. So when somebody is having palpitation, then simple anxiety too can cause that. When somebody is having palpitation, you should actually report to the hospital so that we'll do an ECG, probably do a 48-hour Holter monitor to check the heart reading for 48 hours. then carry out some hormonal tests. There are many things that can cause heart palpitation, but the simplest thing is just anxiety, bad news, you're going to face examiners. I've seen medical students, when they appear before me, I see them start sweating. I know I've gone through the same process. So, but if palpitation persists, the person should come to the hospital for screening.
Thank you very much, sir. This question is not related to the topic, but I want you to please, talk about it. So Bello Kudirat, thank you for joining us, and thank you to all the female educationists around the call. So Bello Kudirat says, what is mammogram and how can we do it? Maybe punchy. We do have before your response, sir, we do have a conversation on breast cancer, and the video is on the Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation YouTube page. As a matter of fact, that conversation was so intense and so eye-opening, and I recommend that everyone, male and female around the call, should visit our YouTube channel and watch the recorded version of the conversation around breast cancer. But sir, quickly, something about mammograms. Yeah.
Mammogram is just the X-ray of the breast tissues that's done in women. When you do mammogram, it will be able to tell you whether the breast tissues are normal or not abnormal. And if abnormal, whether it's something that is cancerous or something that is benign. And then you can now be subjected to other tests. So every female from 40 years and above should do mammogram at least once in 2 years. Just check, They just do the X-ray and then tell you, look at the previous one you've done, or start sometime and build up. It's a record.
Thank you so very much, sir. The conversation has been so interesting, simplified, informative, and I'm not the Nigerian. I don't know so much about military, but sir, you are called retired Major General, but you are not. You don't look tired. You're not even tired. It seems you're even doing much more than when you were in service. Thank you so much for the conversation today, sir. It's a privilege. It's an honor. And on behalf of everyone around the call who has benefited from this conversation, I say thank you very much, sir. We're going to have the recording on our YouTube channel, and I recommend to the 275 of us around the call this morning to share the link when you get it with your people in your network. Everybody needs to hear this conversation. What I like so much about it is the way he simplified everything. There are actions for us to take. Is more or less telling us that the action is in our hands. The responsibility is in us. The way we eat, the time we eat, the things we permit in our lives. Thank you so much, sir. I want to ask on behalf of this anonymous attendee, because I recall many people have been in that situation. They say, what if you're running and you're feeling a chest pain? Are you supposed to continue running or are you supposed to stop? The
answer is very simple. If you have chest pain while running, something is wrong. First, stop. And then call for help. Maybe if there is a vehicle passing by, call for help. Let them, don't stress your heart again. It could be a sign of angina. Angina is ischemic heart disease, reduction in blood supply to the heart. And the exercise that actually provoked it, you must rest. Rest, call for help. Even if you didn't have help, rest, then walk back. And then please go to the hospital. There are people that have had that warning sign. They were okay. They didn't do anything. And then 24 hours later, they now had a full-blown myocardial infarction. It's preventable. It's a warning that you should just look at your heart.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to yield the floor very soon to the co-founder of the Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation and one of our trustees to give the vote of thanks. But before I yield the floor, we do have a conversation also on mental health and wellness on our website. And we would like as many people as possible to take advantage of these free resources. Free to you, but people have paid for it. people who are partnering with us, and the foundation is using its resources to make it happen. So please visit our YouTube channel. The name is also Rehoboth Dream on YouTube, and watch recording of our past conversations. And then finally, I want to say from my personal experience that you can walk into a pharmacy. There's so many pharmacies who have these blood measuring gadgets now in their pharmacies, and you can walk in. Some of them allow you to take your blood pressure for free, and some of them just ask for a token. But as much as possible, like Dr. Ajemba has taught us today, we have to be responsible people. We have to be responsible educationists, and we have to take care of ourselves. We have to love ourselves enough to monitor our health very well. And I'll yield the floor to Admiral Kende Komolafe to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Komolafe, for coordinating today's event so very well. We want to apologize to everybody that I will be hiding my face. Permit me to just speak without showing my face. Our distinguished guest speaker, Major General Doctor, like Mrs. Komolafe said, Pastor Anthony Ajemba has, I may not be going too far from my assignment if I say Major General Ajemba was my roommate in the university, and incidentally, I was his best man when he married some years ago. Esteemed participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again, and thank you for attending this well-organized and well-presented webinar. On behalf of everyone present here today, I want to express our sincere gratitude to our distinguished guest speaker, General Ajemba, for such an insightful and thought-provoking presentation on cardiovascular wellness and awareness. General Ajemba, I'm not surprised you handled the presentation like an expert that you are. We are not only enlightened, on the importance of health for both children and adults, but we have also been provided practical steps we can all take to improve our well-being. We are immensely grateful to you, General Ajemba, sir, for your time, your efforts, and contribution to this event. We assure you that we will put your valuable recommendations into practice, God helping us, and further promote heart health in our homes, in our schools, and communities. Once again, General, thank you very much for your outstanding performance. And I want to say thank you to everyone around this call for participating. Mrs. K, through you, we are sending our appreciation to Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation for going the extra mile to make something like this happen. We say thank you. To our teachers, we will not stop in supporting you. We appreciate you, we love you, and Thursday, this next week, is another day for us to really show our appreciation to you. So once again, thank you, everybody, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Ajemba. I will now yield the floor to Mr. Edison Egera to close the event.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, our teachers. Happy, we wish you a World Teachers Day, and we are going to show you how much we love and appreciate teachers in this foundation. For those who were invited for the event on next week, Thursday, please, we want to appeal to you to honor that invite. Your students have chosen you as the nominees from your school, so please just honor the our invites, and we'll see you all on Thursday. Thank you so much for joining. For the giveaway prize, we are going to announce the results before the event, hopefully on Monday, and we'll reach out to you all. Thank you. And on behalf of the trustees, once again, I want to say thank you to our sponsors, our partners, our past beneficiaries, and everyone that has joined in today. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Edison.